Yeah. Make it equal our attention. We really. Sometimes they are full right here.
Look at your phone.
Where you go spend it at?
I'll picture you want to.
Who? Mama, you still taking picture?
No.
It's not rotating. Nobody can rotate.
Nah, mama.
Nobody wants to rotate it.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, ready.
Jackie, in it, same go about the.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. I want to say thank you again for joining us in this new year, 2024, at the LMP headquarters. Today we'll call you here to brief you on a major happening within the LMP. So, no time to delay, let me just turn over to the spokesperson of the Liberia National Police, Mr. Carter. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Vani. I want to appreciate you members of the press for always availing yourselves to our call, even at the 11th hour. We want to use this time to appreciate all of you and wish you, on behalf of the leadership of the Liberia National Police, Happy New Year. And we want to say prosperous New Year to all. And we know that this year brings a lot of prospects for all of us. Like Vani has told you, we have invited you to brief you on a happening late evening of yesterday in Central Monrovia. Earlier, we had announced to you in 2023, through you to the public, of the wanting of a Liberian female by the name Peaches Queen Johnson for an investigation that we are conducting linking her allegedly to acts leading to the death of one of our citizens, Joshua Solomon. Peace be to his ashes. We then declared Queen Johnson wanted by the Liberia National Police and urged well-meaning Liberians to assist us with available information on the whereabouts of Queen Johnson. We went further by writing the leadership of the Unity Party to be able to assist us in the whereabouts of Madam Johnson, to have her come for questioning. Since then, we have not had any information of the whereabouts of Madam Johnson. Late yesterday evening in Central Monrovia, between Broad and Buchan Streets, at an entertainment area, Red Lion, Madam Johnson was spotted having some amusements. And it's in that vein that officers of the Liberia National Police were alerted of her whereabouts and responded. The situation was very tense. However, professionalism by the responding officers was exhibited in ensuring that Madam Johnson was extracted from the crowd. Having been extracted, Madam Johnson was, from the request of one of our officers, senior officers, to ensure that Madam Johnson was brought to the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. She consented to going with the officer, or coming to the headquarters with the officer. And the junior officers that responded accorded the officer all of the due respect in ensuring that Madam Johnson was brought at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. Members of the press, unfortunately, and I mean unfortunately, while en route to the headquarters of the Liberia National Police to have Madam Johnson face investigation, Madam Johnson was whisked. In other words, she was driven off the headquarters of the Liberia National Police in the vehicle operated by one of our officers. Allegedly, she was driven by this officer, and as a result, absconded the scene here at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. All of the responding officers are being subjected to a professional standard investigation, ranging from the anti-robbery unit, those officers that responded from the anti-robbery unit, the officers from the police support unit, which is the PSU, have also been subjected to professional standard investigation. In addition to these officers being subjected, the officer that is alleged and identified by these junior officers to have been the one who aided and abetted, allegedly, the absconding of Madam Johnson, officer identified as Atman Harding, affectionately 187, that's a code, and he is the chief of technical services of the public safety division, 187, unit 187, Atman Harding. So Harding has been disrupted with immediate effect and forwarded to the professional standard division in line with the rest of the other officers for questioning on how Madam Johnson surreptitiously absconded here at the headquarters of the Liberia National Police. We are using this medium, ladies and gentlemen of the press, again to say that our quest to ensure that Madam Johnson faces interrogation remains unbending. We urge all Liberians, well-meaning Liberians who are respecters of the rule of law, to assist us to ensuring that Madam Johnson faces investigation. This is not about witch hunting. This is not about going after individuals on the basis of their alignments. It is about ensuring that when anyone comes into the conflict or conflict with the rule of law, said person is made to account for their actions. So we're asking well-meaning Liberians to assist us in this endeavor. Like I said to you, we wrote the leadership of the Unity Party. Till now, we have not heard responses from the Unity Party on the whereabouts of Madam Johnson. We look forward to the cooperation of all Liberians in ensuring that this investigation reaches a logical conclusion. Like I said in my last press conference, the law requires that one is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of competent jurisdiction. Madam Johnson remains innocent until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction. We're asking her to come and face police investigation and say what she knows or what she has to say about what happened on the fateful incident right in Cinco that allegedly led to the death of Joshua Salem. And so we urge her, for the sake of the respect of the rule of law, to avail herself to the Liberia National Police. And Officer Hardin, and the rest of those officers that responded yesterday evening to effect the arrest of Madam Johnson have been, turned over. They have been disrobed and turned over to the Professional Standard Division. In the wake of the testimonies as collected from the officers pointing fingers at Officer Hardin, Officer Hardin is urged to report himself to the Professional Standard Division of the Liberia National Police for investigation. We seek to ensure that the rule of law is upheld and to ensure that anyone who comes into conflict with the rule of law faces repercussions or the penalties as in line with the rule of law. And so, members of the press, we just thought to brief you on this because we have been hearing of a lot of accounts on social media that police officer of vehicle with police officer absconded with Madam Johnson, and Madam Johnson cannot be found. The police officers, the Liberia National Police will not go to effect an arrest of a suspect or someone that is alleged of the commission of a crime, and that person will not be brought here or any of our zones and depots. So those who are parading with said information on social media, they will have to desist, because there's a serious investigation that must be attached with seriousness. All right? And we remain very much resolved in ensuring that this investigation will reach a logical conclusion. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time coming to this, press conference. Thank you.
And so we want to use this time for questions, if you have any. Please stick to what's being briefed.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much. My name is Michael Bayo, and I report for Sky FM, Sky TV. Mr. Carter, you just mentioned that you have junior officers and that of one senior officer on ground. According to your explanation, junior officer respected the senior officer. Now you are
That's
talking
according
about,
to the account.
Yeah, now you are talking about every one of them has been disrupted. On what account? Because
so we have a procedure here at the LMP. When officers are, linked to acts of ethical misconduct, or you may say ethical issues, those officers are subjected to professional standard investigation to be able to provide the accounts of what really happened. In the event where those officers, the professional standard finds out in this investigation that those officers are not culpable to be charged, they will make their recommendation to the Inspector General, and the Inspector General will subsequently take appropriate actions. So it is on the basis that it will follow the professional standards.
I just want to know how many.
So we're talking about outside of Officer Harding, we're talking about close to 15 officers that are before professional standards. And those officers were the ones that responded at between Broad and Buchanan Street Red Line to effect the arrest of Madam Johnson. Interestingly, Madam Johnson was not brought for investigation as such. She escaped, the scene when she was brought here.
Has there been any account so far about?
We have taken statement of those officers at the professional standards. Those other officers, those junior officers' statement have been taken. It's only Officer Harding's statement that we have not taken, who is accused by all the officers that he was the one that put Madam Johnson in his vehicle, promising them that he would have delivered Madam Johnson here at the headquarters. And while they were driving with him, Mr. Harding did not deliver Madam Johnson at the headquarters, not at the headquarters, but the charge of quarters of the police.
So, Mr. Carter, is it a normal practice for junior officer to go and effectuate an arrest, and then senior officer come around and say, leave it with me?
So here is the thing. When officers go to effect arrest, right, they use what is called best discretion. That's what they use, best discretion. There are times when officers go to effect arrest, they come under what? Serious attack. And such was the situation last night. Okay. If you saw some of the video, you will know the scene last night. So this officer was the one who assured these junior officer that he would have taken Madam Johnson at headquarters. Interestingly, while that was ongoing, of bringing Madam Johnson here, she was not delivered at charge recorder. Madam Johnson absconded.
Okay.
So-
What do you think would be the cause for which Madam Johnson is allegedly absconded from being investigated?
Well, I cannot tell you what is the reason, because I'm not in the head of Madam Johnson or any other person. But what I can say is there's something in the law that says flight. Flight is an expression of guilt. When you do something and you begin to run away, it tells someone that you are guilty of the act. I'm just saying it's a legal principle. Do not misquote me to say I said she's guilty, because I'm not a court of law. I'm making this clarity because the tendency of people going misinterpreting people is very obvious. I'm not a court of law. I'm not a judge to adjudge anybody guilty. I'm just saying there's a principle that says when you do something and you run away, then there's a legal principle that says whenever you flee, it's an expression of what? Guilt. So if you don't want anybody to claim that you are guilty, the best thing you can do is to what? Avail yourself and say what you know. Once that is done, then the rest is going to be left with the legal process. The legal representations are going to handle the rest.
Okay.
Is there
Right?
is there any
Yes, sir.
legal backing that she was arrested that late night?
Is that legal?
Is there any legal backing
No,
that she was?
some people have a lot of misconceptions about when to make arrest. We don't have any specific time to make arrest. We can make arrest at any given time. Just understand that.
Mr. Caleb,
Yes.
you talk about Johnson escaping or absconding from the police. At what time did she escape? Was she under the jurisdiction or custody of the police? What can you describe, because it's inconceivable. It seems inconceivable to
I'm
note
sorry.
that a female escaped from the Liberia National Police arrest. Maybe I'm raising somebody, actually to
I was just about to say that. Like
Yeah.
the saying goes, when you go to the church,
Yeah.
you don't raise a new song because maybe the song must have already been sung. I'm saying I started from the beginning and said these officers responded, just for the benefit of you. They responded between Buchanan and Broad Street after they had gotten some information about Queen being at one of the entertainment places, Red Lion. So they responded, and the situation was very volatile. As a result, there was a backup force that came to, back up the officers that responded. And so there was one senior officer, according to the officers, who said he would have assisted in ensuring that Queen, senior officer of the police, in his, bringing Madam Johnson to the headquarters of the police. And so he placed Madam Johnson allegedly placed Madam Johnson in his vehicle.
Was it a private vehicle?
It was a private vehicle. His vehicle, officer of the police, identified by the junior officer as Atman Harding. Right? So those officers have been subjected to professional standards. Senior officer Harding has also been subjected to professional standard investigation. It's for them to be able to provide information as to how it happened. The officer will go to effect arrest and make sure that they are successful in effecting arrest. In the end, the suspect is not brought here at headquarters. So hopefully in the course of next week, we'll provide you another update as to the outcome of the investigation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So that was spokesman for the Liberia National Police there giving update regarding to suspect Queen Johnson. Late last night she was arrested at a local entertainment center, that the Red Lion, but according to him she was in his word absconded by one of the senior officers who decided to guide her to bring up at the National Police headquarters. And so the officer Atman Johnson was dismissed immediately, and subsequent investigation is going on. So we will give you another update at some time next week
So thank you for watching. You've been watching from Page Africa Live. I'm J.H. Webster Clay behind the camera. Thank you so much. For now, from my end.